What's going on, guys? My name is Josh Washburn of Washburn Fab Co. And today we're going to be doing a part two on this 20-foot gate that we're building here. So if you haven't seen part one, go back, check that out. I talk about how I fit up and level these large gates like this and keep them all on the same plane. So we got everything tacked together pretty much, but before I weld all of this up, I want to make the brackets that'll go in these corners that when we put our 2x4s in, we can just screw them together so that the fence boards can lay across, and we'll be screwing into wood instead of screwing into the metal. Let's head over to the computer, draw something up, and get all these parts cut out. If you're curious on what program I use to draw up all my cut files, I use Inkscape, a free software. I actually don't recommend it. Like, if you haven't used any software yet, don't use it because it's pretty complicated to use, I would say. It's only two-dimensional. It's mainly used for art and stuff, so I mean, it's okay for signs and stuff like that, but making parts is kind of a pain in the ass. But it's what I learned on, so I'm kind of stuck using it for now until I decide I'm going to break down and get to work on a new software. Once I have my part drawn up on Inkscape, I then transfer it to SheetCam. Once I have it in SheetCam, I can enter the tools that I'm going to be using. I'm using a 3/16 tool and change all my settings over here. From there, I put it on a flash drive and transfer it over to this dusty computer here. I'm just going to find some drop to cut it out of since they're pretty small. They're only 3.5 by 3.5, and then I'll get to cutting. It seems like every time I use my plasma table, I always run into some hiccups. I was having quite the trouble getting it to run properly here. I've got all my tabs cut out and they're pretty much ready to go in, but I got to clean them up a little bit more. I'm going to show you guys real quick how I'm going to get these level in here and all fit up right. I just took a piece of scrap that's going to be clamped in all of our joint corners where these are going to go into. I still got to clean these up before I throw them in, but they're just going to sit in there like that. So these are 3/16 of an inch and our tubing is 2 inch, which when we go to put our wood in there, we should be relatively close to flush. We'll probably be a little bit inset, but you know, wood's always warped and stuff. So if there's a little bit of bow in there, it'll probably make it line up pretty good. I could have went up to 1/4 inch to make it be flush because the 2x4 is really more or less 1 3/4, but we'll be fine right here like this. Since I kind of trapped my welder in here in the middle, I'm going to start in the middle section first and work my way out. So I'm going to treat this as if it's its own frame here in the order of operations that I weld it. So for example, I'll start on top here, top there, top there, top there, then do bottom here, bottom there in the diagonal or in an X motion. And then I will come up to the corners on all of them and I will put in our gussets and weld the gussets all up. Then I'll move down here, do the same thing, and then get my welder unstuck from underneath here and then come across and do both ends. Normally I would just flip it over, but this is 20 foot long by like 6 feet. I got a feeling I'm not going to be able to get it back off the floor when I get it onto the floor since I'm by myself today. So I'm just going to weld it overhead, no big deal. I'm going to get a time lapse going and take care of all this welding and wrap that all up, and then we'll move on to our wheels. I ended up being kind of in a rush here, which is one thing you don't ever want to do is be in a rush because you'll start missing little stuff here and there. I was trying to get it done quick and put in the tabs facing the wrong direction on accident where the bolt holes were horizontal instead of vertical, so I had to pop those out and put them back into place. It was a really quick fix though, considering I only had it tacked on 2 corners and not all the way welded or anything. Be sure to tack everything before fully welding. We got it all welded up. Now it's time to take care of the wheels. This is what we got for wheels. This is going to ride on a 1 inch angle iron, and they're pretty much just going to go on here like this, all at an even spacing. There's not much to it except for making sure they're all straight so that it rides the track properly. I welded everything on here except for the back sides of the gussets or the 2x4 mounting plates. I think my dad's coming out to the shop to work on one of his projects, and I'll have them flip it over or help me flip it over, and I'll get that stuff welded up after I put the wheels on. And then we'll be done with all the shop side of the work besides building the rail that it's going to slide on, which is really simple. I went ahead and ground all of the front facing section of the gate panel flush. That way all of our boards will fit flat. And then my dad was here, so I had him help me get this gate off of these stands, and we just leaned it up against the wall. And then I got started welding out all of our 2x4 brackets completely on this backside. So for the wheels, I use a square to check one axis, and then for the other side with the depth control, I used a speed square to get them all straight and lined out right. Just finished welding up the back of these gussets and these wheels. Besides a little bit of cleanup, knocking some BBs off, grinding down some tacks that we had, we're relatively done with what I could do at the shop. I was going to make the track here, but I figured it'd probably be better to just make that on site. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments, and I'll keep doing random project videos like this. Don't forget to subscribe. We're doing a giveaway at 3,000 subs. Not sure what it's going to be yet. Probably something Yes Welder, Art Captain, to that effect. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.